Welcome back to the Docket Dodgers, everyone. I'm Matt Hager, a criminal defense attorney practicing in both Kentucky and West Virginia, and today I'm joined by
Wade Hall.
Okay, Wade. Today we have another. I feel like we've been talking about Letcher County, the shooting of the sheriff in Letcher County, and now we had the Amber Spradlin case in Prestonsburg. I feel like we have another one close to home.
We do, very close to us, about 2 hours away. Eastern Kentucky is a hotbed of drama recently, and now we have two murdered women and an alleged suspect in custody.
Yeah, we have a double murder possibly going on. There's a Brian Epstein or Epperson that was charged. Don't want to see Epstein.
No. We're probably already on a list now.
Oh, no. All right. So we have a Brian Epperson, and I first seen about this case, Wade, on TikTok. A young woman in Irvine, which is really close to where these murders happened at, did a TikTok on it. So we're gonna play that TikTok for you now and let you see what we seen.
Two mothers have been found passed away here in Eastern Kentucky in Airbnb and a hotel room, both rented out by this guy. On June 27th, Reacheal Dawson went missing after going for a walk around 3:30 p.m. They live in like a really rural area, like they lived on a one-lane road out in the woods. Stepson couldn't find her, so her boyfriend Caleb texted her and said that he was going to Walmart. She didn't text back, which was really weird because she always texts back or returns calls. Caleb is actually my boyfriend's friend. This is all happening here in my hometown and in like the surrounding counties. He couldn't get a hold of her. He contacted police and her sister. Police were able to track her location to the Red Roof Inn in Winchester through the Find My Phone app that a family member had provided. During the police investigation, they had found out that 44-year-old Brian P. Epperson was the one who rented the hotel room at the Red Roof Inn in Winchester. He's also connected to another woman, 32-year-old Kristen Morris, who was found on May 31st, an Airbnb that Epperson had rented on Patsy Mountain. It's technically in Stanton, but pretty much in my hometown. He was arrested pretty quickly after they found Reacheal. He was only charged with possession. Both of these mothers passed away from ingesting too many controlled substances. I have to be careful with what I say on here or this video will get taken down. Go look up the news articles. All you gotta do is search Brian Epperson or Reacheal Dawson or Kristen Morris and any of this will pop up. You'll be able to read all the details there. But Reacheal wasn't a drinker. She didn't smoke. She had never done any controlled substances before. That was very out of character for her. I don't know about the other girl, but I'm assuming the same can be said for her. She's now been charged with connection to the Kristen Morris case. Winchester PD did put out a statement saying that he was the prime suspect in Reacheal Dawson's investigation. Hopefully charges will be brought forth on him for that soon too. More people need to be talking about this. I mean, this is so close to home. This could have happened to any of us. It could have been me. It could have been you. Please share this video to spread awareness. Make your own video, whatever it takes. You can also find a lot more details that's not listed on any of the news channels on her boyfriend's Facebook page, which is right here. Also bad for him and his son. I cannot even imagine what they're going through. His son had just lost his mother recently and now he's lost his stepmother too. She also raised and took care of her niece like she was her own daughter. Kristen Morris was a mother too. It's just so sad. Hopefully he has to spend the rest of his life in jail.
So that's where I first found out about this case from. And we actually have some exclusive information, don't we, Wade?
Yeah, we have the citations. They're known as uniform citations in Kentucky. We would call them a criminal complaint here in West Virginia. There's two incidents, really. You have the drug investigation, which is related to the murder. And when it comes to the murder indictment, that's sealed. So what exactly does that mean?
Usually it's sealed before it's they'll seal an indictment before it's served. So a grand jury will meet, and sometimes if they're afraid it's a high-profile case and they don't want the person to go on a run, they will seal the indictment until it's served. But I think in this case it has been served. It's just that it's not probably scanned into the system yet where you or I can find it.
Exactly. But in the drug possession case, it's alleged the women were killed by drug overdose. In the complaint, I'll read it to you here. It says, on May 31st, 2025, Powell County coroner responded to Stanton, Kentucky. Upon their arrival, they found an unresponsive female by the name of Kristen Morris. Miss Morris was staying at an Airbnb that Brian Epperson had secured. Brian Epperson was present during this event, and the coroner located unknown tablets filled with unknown substances. Upon receiving the toxicology report approximately 20 days after the death, it was found Miss Morris had suffered from an overdose, with her blood being at 57,000 plus on their measurements. The medical examiner's office stated the typical overdose would be approximately 200 nanograms per milliliter of blood. The only other thing in Miss Moore's system was methamphetamine. This was when the coroner produced the Kentucky State Police Post 8. Detective Virgil Rucker was with the evidence he'd collected from that scene. Mr. Rucker took possession of the evidence and placed it into the Kentucky State Police evidence in Moorhead, Kentucky. So it's saying the amount of drugs that were in her system is not a recreational user's amount, not that she took too much or something like it. It seems the amount she took, anyone would assume they would die from that amount of in their system.
And that was Morris, right? Was that the name of the victim in that one?
Yes, it was. A Miss Morris.
So she was the girlfriend, and that was found in Stanton, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And then not too far away in Winchester is where we have this other young lady that went missing.
Yes, and we looked at the map. It was about a 25-minute drive down the road. And that was on June 27, 2025. Shortly after midnight, Winchester Police Department received a call of a missing person at the Red Roof Inn of Irvine, Kentucky. The location was obtained using the Find My iPhone software, which I keep on my phone. I think it's good to share your location with friends and family. Because, the government's already tracking you anyway. So
might as well let your friends and family know where you're at.
Exactly. Upon investigating, it was found in the room the missing female was in and had been rented by Brian Epperson. Upon entry into the room, the Winchester Police Department found an unresponsive female who was pronounced deceased shortly after. As officers investigated that crime scene, the same style capsules were located. So that was located in a bag in Mr. Epperson's truck. So the same cause of death they would assume from the first crime scene was found in the second crime scene in the truck of the suspect, and they searched it with the search warrant, which means they were covering all their bases. And those tablets were consistent with those in Powell County, which contributed to the overdose death of Kristen Morris. So that's showing he was connected. There's a connection there.
And actually, we have I think this is Fox 56. They actually went out and they interviewed the boyfriend. I think you said the boyfriend tried to text her or call her, and she never returned the calls, and it was just out of character for her. And they actually have an interview with him and a little bit more about this double murder potentially that's going on. So we'll play that now. Let you guys listen to that.
But before you play it, I just want to say, he was very active in this, talking to the police, getting them involved, getting the media involved. And when something happens like that, like a tragedy, you want someone advocating for you, and he's doing exactly that.
This person right here, that's who loved me. That's who accepted me, and that's who wanted to build a life with me. And I don't have that anymore. I have a piece of paper and ashes soon.
On Thursday, June 26th, Thompson says he hadn't heard from Dawson in a few hours, and he wasn't able to get in contact with her, which was not normal. When his son called him saying Riri, as Thompson referred to her, wasn't home, he knew something was wrong.
I went outside, and I screamed for her. I screamed until some of our furthest neighbors around our one-lane road heard me, because I couldn't stop. I just kept screaming for her. I just kept calling her phone, and she wasn't answering.
Reacheal's sister pinged her phone's location, which showed that she was here at this Red Roof Inn off Interstate Drive in Winchester. When first responders got here, they found a lifeless Reacheal Dawson in one of the rooms inside. And according to authorities, that room was rented out by Brian Epperson. Epperson was arrested on June 27th and later charged with murder in connection with another death, the May 31st overdose of 32-year-old Kristen Morris, who was found dead inside a Powell County Airbnb. Investigators.
So he was charged with the first woman's murder. Has he been charged with the second yet?
I don't think so. These are two different counties. It's the Powell County is where the murder citation's from, I believe.
Yeah.
So Clark County, that's Winchester, would actually have to do the other murder charge. So I don't think anyone's charged him yet. And that might be just because the grand jury is not met in Clark County yet, and they're waiting on the grand jury to convene to indict him.
I was wondering when crimes that are so connected happen across county lines, does the prosecution work together? How does that normally take place?
I say that they'll do two separate trials in two separate jurisdictions, just for jurisdiction issues.
He had these capsules of pills. That's not something I've normally seen in my experience of drug users having capsules of methamphetamine.
No, I haven't either. And I thought that was odd. And, I don't know whether he was trying to tell these women that they were something else. Mm-hmm. And it's all allegedly. I mean, we don't know if Brian Epperson is innocent to proven guilty, but we're just speaking allegedly. I don't know if he was trying to convey to them that there was something else. We don't have any details about what color the capsules were or anything like that. So, but it's just odd, having methamphetamine in a pill.
It is very odd. But having two people overdose on the drugs that were found in your truck, and your name is signed both to an Airbnb and a hotel room. Mm-hmm. That's a strong case for the prosecution there, and that's a lot to lean upon somebody.
This is just enough for probable cause, and it's enough for beyond a reasonable doubt, I think, at this point. But we're really early in this. And, this is not all the evidence that they're going to discover. They're going to get into his cell phone. They'll get his cell phone data. They'll see all his movements and where he was at, and they'll tie him to this crime. Do you think this will go to a trial, Wade?
Well, it depends. Kentucky's a death penalty state, is it not?
Yeah. And so if they're wanting a death penalty, we might see two murder trials coming up high profile pretty soon in Kentucky with the other murder trials we have coming up in Eastern Kentucky.
Normally on these things, when the evidence from the beginning looks so strong, people tend to look towards a plea deal. Mm-hmm. And to deal with two trials, he's going to have maybe the same lawyer for both, but I would assume different.
Yeah, most of the time in Kentucky, in West Virginia, each circuit has their own public defender office. In Kentucky, they're actually grouped by trial divisions, and the trial division will take in a couple counties. And I don't know whether Stanton, which is Powell County, and Winchester, which is Clark County, I don't know if they're in the same trial division or not, but I would imagine a high-profile case like this, you want the same attorney, or at least them working together on these cases.
I would think so, too. But if he has records of buying an Airbnb here, buying a hotel here, he had a truck, this would imply this is a person of means, and they might not necessarily qualify for a public defender.
Oh, yeah. And, you said something that just caught my attention just in. These are the two that we know about. Do you think there's possibly anything out there that we don't know about? Because it seems like the same MO. He did the same thing. How many days apart were these two?
Oh, they were within a week or so. June,
at least a month.
Yeah, at least a month.
At least a month of each other. So we're seeing a pattern. Did we have a possible maybe serial killer on our hands?
Well, if it was an accident, allegedly, if someone passes away, accidental drug use, you're not going to give someone you care about that same batch of drugs,
right? Yeah.
So if it's known to be a drug that's going to kill somebody, and you just keep it around and you give it to someone else,
it looks intentional.
It does look intentional, because the numbers that they were saying in that criminal complaint were well beyond normal levels.
And here's another thing you got to think about: was he taking the same capsules? What was the reason why he didn't pass away? Because he wasn't taking those capsules. It seems like he knew not to take them. Possibly.
Mm-hmm. When you're arrested in Kentucky, do you undergo any sort of tox screenings, drug testing?
I'm not sure. I know in West Virginia, where me and you primarily practice, when you go into Southwestern Regional Jail or one of the regional jails, they will give you a tox screen immediately, what's in your system. But I'm not too sure about Kentucky. Because in Kentucky, you got jails ran by counties, and every county is different.
because if he goes into that jail and his drug test comes back clean, that's something.
That's
right
telltale.
there.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about a new charge that has came out against them.
Oh yeah, it's the video voyeurism. I think is a new charge, and we have that complaint here for you on the docket, Dodgers. And Wade's going to read that to you now.
Yeah, and to have something like this come up afterwards, it just shows that he has a lot going on.
He does have a lot going on.
And this was from 6/30/25. As the police were continuing their investigation into Epperson, a detective was interviewing a female at Shayla Maru, which is when a digital recording device was located in the female's bedroom. So the recording device was a fake digital clock. So on the outside, it looked like a digital clock, but there was a camera underneath the plastic glass plating.
And this is a different woman, is that correct?
This is a different woman. This would be, I believe, a former girlfriend of his,
okay,
or someone he had access to their bedroom. Inside, it was a hidden audio and video port, and a search found an SD card. And the female respondent could be seen doing sexual things on the video, and it was taken without her consent or knowledge. And the digital clock stored data, what we could assume was data collected until it was found, which could have been a while. And it says he was a previous live-in boyfriend of the victim, but had been removed from the residence for over a month. Mm-hmm. So there's no telling how long he had that clock there. And is that the only camera? Is this? Could he have been doing this in all kinds of places? It just makes you really think of, he's setting up cameras. He's allegedly doing sexually depraved things.
Do we have a mental competency defense?
I wouldn't think so, because I feel like he is knowingly doing whatever he's doing. It's not like he's acting upon a whim or here that. Mm-hmm. Where do you go and buy a fake digital camera with a recording device?
You have to intentionally go on the internet and find it.
Yeah, like if you're a manic person, depraved, like you're acting irrationally in the moment. This is not something you can like run down to the store and buy.
You know, something else we need to talk about too is we have two murder cases going on in two different jurisdictions. Let's say Clark County picks up the murder charge, and they're like, okay, if you go ahead and plea and we don't go to trial, we're going to take the death penalty off the table. Something that he has to think about, and his defense team's got to think about, is that if he takes that plea and say that Stanton, Powell County, wants to seek the death penalty, now they have a prior guilty plea that they'll be able to use. Usually you can't use prior crimes, but this is showing motive and intent.
It's so connected.
It's so connected, yeah.
And that's why I think that the other county's waiting to bring the charges. They want to see how it's going to play out, and they have time to
to
wait.
They got plenty of time, yeah.
Because he's not going anywhere.
No.
He's not getting out of jail. So when it comes to getting out on bond, on bail, what are the factors that like a judge would consider?
Most of the time, the pretrial services are going to evaluate that individual, and they're going to look at two factors. They're going to look at the dangerousness to the community, and I think you have a lot of that in this case, and the likelihood of flight. I know if I'm facing two murder charges and a voyeurism charge, I'm probably going to head for the hills.
Exactly. You're going to get out of that hang 'em high southern state, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to the prosecutor in either county, I think the community is big behind keep him locked up, and I don't think the prosecutor in either county would budge. But this has been a real interesting case. We're right at the beginning of it, so there's going to be a lot to come up. He hasn't been arraigned in that second murder yet, hasn't even brought charges. They're going to be a lot of pretrial motions and discovery and all of that to come out. So we're going to keep an eye on it, and anything that comes up, we're going to definitely talk about it. Keep those people's families in your prayers, and hope to have some interesting stuff to bring to you then on the next few episodes. This has been the Docket Dodgers with Wade Hall. Matt Hager.
Oh, yeah. That's me, right?
That's you. That's
okay.
you.